Good afternoon. This is Rachel Wilson, the producer of Science Studio. So, there's been some interesting developments happening in the Forge. We have just successfully Christianized Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 Remake, anyway. Now, that was hard to watch. There was some scenes in Silent Hill 2 Remake that it was just unnecessary. But I suspected a few things concerning this secular work because I had seen the theme so many times already done before. Quick example is Undertale. Another one, the anime Lost. Game, Life is Strange. Specifically the first one in Double Exposure. And who or what was it that I had observed? Hold on. It was a game. It was another game, ESO. And that particular dungeon that you go into, I think in Stone Falls? Yeah, Stone Falls. Well, in ESO, there are group dungeons, and there was this one where it was called the Bad Man. Now, what do all of these works have in common? A demonic entity. The Bad Man, when you go into that grove and you're sacrificing, which for the record is unbiblical, you're not supposed to sacrifice unto idols, and that's exactly what these people were doing. But when I first went in there, I didn't know that. I was ignorant of it. I'd never seen that quest before, so I was checking it out. And after you give the apples, boom, right? And, oh wait, pause. There's another game that did this. Fable. I'll get to that. Going back to ESO though, and then I'm going to go into Silent Hill, and then Life is Strange, and back and forth, and you're going to see how this is working. Bad Man, that Daedra was the tree, and you're inside of the tree, and he was just everything. He was the sky, he was the tree, the roots, the grove itself was a demonic entity. In Life is Strange, Double Exposure, you have this supernatural thing going on, and they seem to be like in a loop sequence. There's some fan theories out there, but I've suspected for a long time that when Max Caulfield rewinds, she is leaving an echo or another entity of herself, and that version of her happened. That timeline happened. Okay, pause. Let's go over to Undertale. Sans, this skeleton, which I know in this realm, I mean, as a Christian, I know these are all demons and demonic indoctrination by default, okay? Let's just get that cleared. Sans is a demon. He's not a monster. In fact, in a lot of Japanese content that I come across when I researched it, like Pokemon, for example, it means pocket monster, but a lot of the pocket monsters are demonic. A lot of them are based off of animals, but again, the term monster, when you look back far enough, it will associate to a demon. So Sans being a monster, that didn't deter me. I knew he was going to be demonic. I just didn't realize that he became what he became. Same for some of the other monsters down there. Their forms, like when you get, depending on what path you pick, what you make Frisk do, the whole theme will change. But what happens in Undertale is you can reset, and when you reset, the more you reset, the menu option changes because Sans sees you. He knows what you've done. Chara was one of the children that killed some of the monsters, and Frisk, depending on what you choose, will inhabit and take on Chara's entity. This kid is just psycho and a murderer. But Sans has all these multi-universes, and he's the only one that seems, as far as I know, he's the only one who is aware of what is even going on there. So he creates multi-universes. In Life is Strange, it seems like in Double Exposure, there's a parallel universe going on. I saw that happen in Mad Max, the Blue Moon and the Red Moon, and then you have the Blue Moon and the Red Moon with Max, and the parallel universe effect, which Lost also pulled. And Lost started showing a loop sequence. I forget what essentially happened there, but eventually the protagonists have to go into Lost. And that event, and the dad of the main protagonist, the female lead, is dead. Or is he? Because he's called his daughter to Lost, similar to how James and Eddie and Angela are called to Silent Hill. And once you get in Silent Hill, once you get in Lost, you're stuck there. The difference, you can leave Silent Hill. From what I understand, you can legit leave. In Lost, you struggled to leave. Like, once you got in the core of what Lost was, you couldn't leave. Sans would reset, and it's like he's leaving, but they just keep looping over and over and over. And ESO, come to find out, it's just some big deity's dream. They're all figments. No one's actually doing it. It's just some deity's big messed up circus freak show, and it's a loop constantly. There are some things that happen in Oblivion and on Nirn that is intended to be a loop. They can't escape. So my team, we've noticed this pattern, right? No matter what secular title it was, that consistency of time paradox, looping, people being stuck, reliving and re-experiencing these traumatic, heart-wrenching events. Whether it's in their mind, it's in their life, they're just over and over and over and over and over. So we decided that we were gonna do something about this. Like, this has got to stop. This, I know that people like this stuff, but again, we're Christians. We don't want to endorse what we clearly see and know by Scripture is indoctrination by demons. Why the demons want to do time paradoxes and loops is beyond me, but they're very consistent at showing a demonic entity. Again, Silent Hill, it's a demon. There are demons running around, but Silent Hill is the demon. Just like that grove was, for the bad man, the Daedra, it was him. It was his essence. So Exposed Hill is going to be the counterpart to Silent Hill. And with Exposed Hill, we're going to go ahead and combine a few of these secular titles. So that would be Life is Strange, Lost, some of the aspects of ESO, Mad Max, like all of that stuff that they were doing with the moon and the time power. Well, we can't really focus on the time power. We can't do that. But there are other things we're going to put in there. After reading the Book of Reuben, we know what the 7 powers are, and every human being has them. If they read, they'll know that. And I'm not going to get into that. That's not what this is for. But the Lord cleared humanity to have supernatural power. But humanity has to be smart enough and wise enough to know that that power has to come from the Lord and be directed of the Lord. Lucifer's power, hell's power, is called witchcraft. And anything else they want to throw in there, it's a relabeling of something that was already there, that was already made. So the main foundation of Exposed Hill will be Silent Hill, but I will definitely, with the team, be throwing in aspects of those other titles I just said. So Silent Hill was to show people and manifest their trauma, their fears, their sins. Mad Max, depending on the moon that you were under when Friday did what he did with the book. Margaret did that, right? She actually had to kill this guy. It was self-defense, I think. I'm pretty sure Margaret killed that guy in self-defense. but there was a doll that she had, and she felt guilty about what she had done. Maybe she enjoyed it a little too much. It was pretty dark. Well, what happened there was when she killed that man, Madlax is born under one of those moons. Either it was the blue moon or the red moon. She is her sin manifested. She is murder. Because when you meet Madlax, she's crazy good at killing. That's all she's ever known. That's all she's ever done. Meanwhile, Margaret is living her best life elsewhere, but she gave birth to Madlax. And that doll also came to life and became its own entity. Similar to how Silent Hill, James, Maria, Mary Shepard, Angela's abstract daddy, these people are in Silent Hill, which is the demonic entity, and their pain, their trauma, or their desires seem to be manifested. Maria, I know from a spiritual standpoint, that is a demoness, or what a demon would label themselves as, a succubus or a porn devil, a lust devil, etc. But from the secular, from a terrestrial standpoint, Maria is the figment manifestation of James' ideal woman, James' desires of what he wanted Mary to be. But she makes the comments, I can be whatever you want. Clearly, she has power. But for what we need to do, we can't just have all of these random secular themes without purifying what was going on so we can represent it, right? We can't just say, all right, we have Exposed Hill and we're going to pull the same thing, and we're going to have people's figments come to life, and we're going to have the Exposed Hill be a demonic entity. No. But what we can do is Exposed Hill, where Silent Hill was demonic, we will have Seraphim, winged serpent, holy angels, but their proper title is Seraphim. And the Seraphim on Exposed Hill are agents of Elohim, and they will take the form of a terrestrial, which they've already done in the book anyway, so that's already cleared. That's fine to do. Now, they can take the form of people they don't know, or they can take the form of an animal. They can just take different forms. What they're never going to do is take the form of a loved one. That would be torturous. That's not what Seraphim do. They don't appear as your loved ones. That's what demons do. But on Exposed Hill, that city, it's where people think they can run away, not just from the Lord, but from life, from people they've wronged. They'll have a lie. They'll have some kind of heinous avon they've committed, and they're carrying it around. And they think when they get to Exposed Hill that they can just live life and not have to deal with the consequence of what they've done. But little do they know that the Lord is there, and the Lord uses this place as a means to bring their Avon to the light, and he exposes them in a kind, loving way. And there are scriptures that talk about how the Lord takes what is in the dark and puts it in the light. It's not a shame thing. It's not a bully approach. It's just the Lord will have his way, and these people who are running to Exposed Hill, some of them, a majority of the characters will be Christians. But at Exposed Hill, their avons, their sins, they're going to be brought to the light, and it's not going to be a fun time. Scripture says he gives people time to confess, and if they don't, he will do it for them. And the characters, they're new, they're still being created, but what's going to happen is these characters will have a connection, I think, to Snapshot. In one of the seasons, I think 1 or 2 at most are going to cross over with Maxine and the cast there. It's going to be so much fun, because at the end of this, Maxine's going to ask whatever character I have on set, where did you come from? And they're going to say, oh, I came from Exposed Hill. And then that's going to take my readers into that work where they will see the Christianized, purified edition of Silent Hill, plus Life is Strange and Madlax and Undertale, etc. I'm really excited for this. I can't wait to tell the team because they don't know yet, but they're going to love Exposed Hill. There is more to this, but I'm going to save that for another day. Much love.